Katie is out today. I was with intern Squidward last night at Kevin Hart at the Greensboro Coliseum, and all hell broke loose. Kevin Hart had to stop his show 3 separate times. I've never seen a big-time star have to do this ever, like a comedian. And if, by the way, while you're thinking about this, if you're at Kevin Hart last night, call us 800-682-1075. Or if you've seen a strange thing that at a concert or show, what strange thing have you seen at a concert or show? Call us 800-682-1075. So Kevin Hart, I mean, the openers were great. Kevin Hart gets on stage, and he's like murdering right away. I mean, people are dying laughing. There's probably 15,000 people there. And all of a sudden, you just hear some lady off to the side screaming. But but
screaming.
Not screaming in pain, like just yelling. Yelling's a better word. Yelling. And people are like, so then because I had much better seats than Squid. I was on the floor. But I look over, and I'm like, why is she what's going on? And then Kevin Hart's like in the middle of his set, right? Actually, Kevin Hart had just started talking about how his dad died recently.
I saw this skit, yep.
Yeah, so he's starting about his dad died. So it was like almost like, it doesn't get emotional, but he's setting up a joke about his dad dying. But, and Kevin Hart goes, hey, what are everybody looking at? So he stops the show. What's everyone looking at? And he looks over at her section. He goes, what's going on? And he's like trying to guess what's going on, and people are trying to tell him stuff, but he can't really hear. And he's like, all right. He's like, Dad, let's just take care of it. Let's just take care of it. And then he tries to start back, and then you hear the lady go, you can't even understand what she's saying. He's like, really loud. So loud that 15,000 people are stopping. I'll tell you in a second. 15,000 people are stopping to look like, what is going on? And you can't even figure out what's going on. So Kevin Hart, in the middle of his joke, again, stops, and he goes, okay, all right, this is the second time. What's happening over here? Can we get security to get her out of here? Get her out of here. And like, people are like, and then he's like making fun of her. He's like, who's this dumb biatch and like this fat biatch? I said, I guarantee you, she's a big fat girl. They can't get her out of the seats. I mean, he laid into her. He laid into her and said, her man's probably like, shut up. We paid a lot of money for Kevin Hart.
It's just like this. It's like the man's probably not looking any guy in the eyes.
Yeah.
He's like,
what he couldn't see, because I was closer to her than Kevin Hart was, it was 2 women that I don't know. They appeared to be intoxicated and were just like out of their mind, just talking nonsense, and they didn't want to leave. And Squid said he heard something.
Were they arguing with each other or yelling
people
at
around
Kevin
them?
Hart?
People around them.
What I think it was is we were like across from them, and we saw like a lighter flick a couple of times. Like I think they were trying to smoke. I think that's what they were trying to do, and I think the people around them were getting upset. That was my guess. That was my only guess, but
because Squid would be in that situation.
And then, unfortunately, for everyone involved, these 2 women were like in the middle of the row. So there's like 6 people on one side, 10 people on the other. It wasn't like at the end of the row. We're like, get up. We're taking you now.
Yeah.
So they're trying to, like, the security and stuff's trying to lean over and try to talk to her, de-escalate, trying to be quiet because Kevin Hart's performing for 15,000 people. So he goes back. He's like, yeah, so my dad has CPOD or whatever the thing is. And he's having a problem breathing. He starts da-da-da-da-da. And then she starts up again. And he's like, all right. So I got all the time in the world. I said, I am not going to continue. And he didn't say it in a mean way. I mean, people were dying laughing. He says, I will start back once I see her fat A going up the stairs and out of here. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so then there's like 6 security people around this lady. And eventually they finally get her to stand up. And he's going in on her about how fat she is, how dumb she is, wasting everybody's time. And Kevin Hart this, Kevin Hart that. And finally, they get her and her friend up, and they get her out. And the whole way out, the lady's like flipping the crowd off.
Wow.
And he's like, oh, I like how they get all confident when they get kicked out. He's like,
I don't care. Like, I don't want to be here anyway.
F you guys, and strutting across the stage. He still thought it was with a date, and he's like, oh, man. It's like her date on the ride home. It's like, you wasted me all this money, and Kevin Hart, we can never go back. We can't go out in Greensboro anymore.
It was like her boyfriend's going to be talking to her like, you have 2 chances to shut up, but you did it.
Yeah, all she had to do is shut up, and you've been all right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we were like, what in the world? And then Kevin Hart went on after that because he's a pro. But he referenced it again a little bit later in the show. But it was just so bizarre.
When he was at the PNC pavilion, or what was it?
Arena?
The arena inside, he did some skit where he came out with a bat.
No, he didn't do that.
He didn't come out with a bat? And he's like, if anybody acts, he said that he's been having problems with people acting up. So he came up with a bat.
Yeah.
And then some guy from the audience came up there, like he was going to jump up on stage.
That's funny.
And Kevin took the bat, but it seemed like kind of a setup. You don't think it was a setup, do you?
No. Because these people came in. I remember one of the openers said something about sex or sexy time, and like who likes da da da. And looking back, it was one of these two ladies went nuts. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh, wow. Like, dang, girl, let me finish my joke.
Yeah, the comedian was like, what women in the crowd are cool with, sexy time on the first date, and before he could even get the first date out, she was like, woo!
So I think they had made some little fun before the show started. But yeah, Kevin Hart, was great. He made fun of Will Smith.
Yeah,
he made fun of LeBron. I was surprised how much he made fun of Will Smith. It was so funny. But yeah, Kevin Hart was great, but it's so bizarre. Let's see. Alexis, were you at Kevin Hart last night?
I was. I had good seats, decent seats, and I got to see I couldn't hear what was going on so much, but I got to see the situation a lot because of where she was sitting at and the angle I was sitting. So, yeah, she was a big girl. That was a big girl. She must have had a lot to drink because she was a big girl, and they were talking about she must be big. Yeah, she was big, all right, and dressed in a very bright dress that you could not miss her in all that darkness. So, yeah, she was wild, and I was like, oh, my God, this lady's going to get kicked out. And I would have been like, oh, my God, if I'm this person's date, I would have been like, girl, you need to shut the hell up. But, yeah, he did stop four times. Finally, on the fourth one is when he said, just get her out. Just get her out. Let's get this over with. Let's get her out.
Oh, you're right. It was four times. You're right.
It was
four times.
Crazy. That many people, too. 15,000
yeah,
people.
he blended it in great.
He did.
He worked it in. And he had but maybe 10 minutes before, he said, we live in a time where, I wish we could say to people, shut the F up and sit down.
Yeah.
So then by the time, I think the third time, he was like, you know what? Shut the F up and sit down. And Kevin Hart's like, but in a funny way to this lady. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, and I think the first time he stopped, he was like, I don't actually care about y'all on the show. I just want to make sure that I'm safe.
Right. All right, let's go to Chrissy. Chrissy, were you at Kevin Hart last night?
Hi, Jared. It's Chrissy. Hi, guys. At the morning show. Yes, I was there last night. Jason, I did go to the one also in Raleigh, and that one definitely was planned, but this one was not. They were causing a complete ruckus. I was down in the front row, so I did get a chance to somewhat hear, and it was over some seats. And she was also extremely, extremely drunk, too. But it was absolutely hilarious, and best believe it is stinging for them in the morning. I'm telling you. Missing out on that show. That was a good show.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so good. Thank you, Chrissy.
Was the, is she still there?
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh. I wanted to ask her how different it was, you know what I mean? Because I wanted to go to this show. I didn't get the tickets, but because I was like, is it going to be the same exact thing, or is it going to do something different? That's what I wanted to know.
Did he talk about Will Smith, you remember, and LeBron being bald and not bald? And
I think he talked about LeBron. I can't remember the Will Smith, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe maybe he had some of the same stuff.
I think at the one in PNC, I was close to being that girl.
I don't really remember a lot of it. Let's go to Josh. So we saw Kevin Hart, Squid and I, and a lady was so disruptive, or two ladies, that Kevin Hart stopped the show actually 4 times, remember now. What strange thing have you seen at a concert or a show? Go ahead, Josh.
Hey, so I went to school at UNC Wilmington, and Dave Chappelle did a stand-up there for all the students. And this was during the time of the Chappelle show. And so everyone in the audience was doing the Rick James and the Little John impressions he always did. The what?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, the whole time. And he ended up quitting the show and not finishing it because he couldn't get through his routine.
Oh, my gosh.
What? Yeah. What?
That's crazy.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. That was huge for a while. Dang, man. People messing up Dave Chappelle in the height.
That's crazy.
Height of his fame. Although now he's probably more famous than ever. All right, Josh. Thank you very much. Yeah.
The craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yes. Yes, please.
Were you involved?
No. Was when we went to that cooking show and they had all those actors go up on stage and do that stuff.
Oh,
it wasn't actor. It wasn't.
What was his name?
It
wasn't. It
was
wasn't.
coached.
Alton Brown.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Alton
You
Brown.
know why? Because I actually know somebody that works with that lady and said 100% it wasn't
It's
coached.
solicited and coached behind stage. I have the whole article.
No, that's a different thing. That
No.
when I have met somebody that is her best friend,
Yeah.
and she came in the next day. It's like, you will not believe. So I drank too much, and he called me on stage, and I don't remember what I said.
Yeah. They say that they submit all those people ahead of time, and backstage they coach them to do certain things. But that's okay. That's what the show article actually says.
At a different location in one place in like Connecticut one time.
No, every show.
No, they ask people if they want to participate. We could have
Ahead of time,
and they might call people up, but they don't know how they're going to act.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact, and I'm willing to put all your salary on it.
Yeah.
I can't believe, Jason, you just went back in time to bring this back up for this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Know for a fact.
Aren't you a magician? You're not supposed to reveal the secrets.
I know. What are you doing?
Bro code here, bro.
Currently study magic.
He's retired.
That's in the past. That's my
I
past.
did back in the day.
He's
Squid.
magic emeritus. He's somewhat retired.